Walked in, 30,000 in my pocket, had them niggas just like, whoa.
Guys, welcome me to my car.
Hey, girl.
You're so silly. What's that?
Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat.
I gotta get in trouble for this Snapchat.
You want to get in trouble with Snapchat?
As long as you're not gonna get in
I'm
trouble.
going to need you to open up my car door and let me in my car.
I'll be a gentleman.
This is Cachet Henderson, a 31-year-old vibrant and loving transgender woman from Milwaukee, whose life was tragically cut short in a brutal act of violence. Known for her sharp wit and unforgettable personality, Cachet would be discovered inside a home moments after revealing a devastating truth to her boyfriend. In the early hours of February 26, 2023, at approximately 9:21 a.m., emergency crews rushed to Cachet Henderson's apartment on North 29th Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, responding to what seemed like a routine fire call. But what they uncovered was far from ordinary. As flames tore through the home, responders found Cachet's lifeless body. Yet the most chilling discovery awaited investigators: a gasoline can placed deliberately in the living room. This was no accident. It was a calculated attack, and Cachet was the intended target. But that wasn't what ended her life. The real clue to her killer's identity lay hidden in a piece of surveillance footage. But before we get to the haunting footage that her family believes shows her killer, let me take you back to where this all began. Cachet Henderson was born on June 12, 1991, and grew up in Chicago, Illinois, alongside her two sisters. From an early age, Cachet was described as a social butterfly, constantly surrounded by friends and always the center of attention. She was known for her outgoing personality, her infectious laugh.
Brooklyn. Come on, baby. No park for y'all. No park for y'all. Yeah. No. I ain't finna watch y'all bad-ass kids. Hey, Alicia. Right. Why she acting like a fucking diva? That's why I don't like her. Tap your own shoe. Give me your popsicle. She don't want to give me her popsicle. She know I'm gonna take some. Shoot in, Tal. Shoot in.
Her family was incredibly supportive of her journey, especially during her transition when she was around 13 or 14 years old. From an early age, Cachet had a deep sense of self, and with the support of her family, she was able to fully embrace her true identity. As she grew, Cachet not only gained confidence in herself, but began to stand as a beacon of self-assurance for others. Growing up, Cachet always put a lot of thought and effort into her appearance. It wasn't just about looking good, it was about feeling good in her skin. She took immense pride in how she presented herself to the world, and that pride translated into everything she did. Her family, who accepted her wholeheartedly, watched as she blossomed into a confident, graceful woman. They celebrated her journey, cheering her on every step of the way as she embraced her true self. Cachet's journey wasn't without its challenges, but she always found strength in the support of her family and her growing self-confidence. When she moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to build a new life, she sought fresh opportunities to continue her growth. In Milwaukee, Cachet quickly found a place where she could not only thrive, but also give back to the community that had supported her. She became deeply involved in various LGBTQ+ organizations. Her work with Sheba Sisters, a vital support group for Black transgender women, and Diverse and Resilient, a program dedicated to empowering marginalized groups, became central to her life. These organizations allowed Cachet to advocate for transgender rights and help others find their voice. She found a deep sense of purpose in this advocacy, drawing strength from helping others embrace their true identities. Cachet was known for her fierce dedication to the causes she believed in. Her passion for social justice and transgender rights led her to spend years fighting for others' rights, empowering people to embrace their own identities. Her involvement in these organizations was just one way she showed up for her community, constantly using her platform to speak out against injustice. But Cachet wasn't just a passionate advocate. She was also deeply committed to her independence. Her hard work paid off when she bought a brand new car, a milestone that represented not only her professional success, but also her ability to create opportunities for herself. Her independence was a testament to the strength and resilience that had shaped her life. Known for her larger-than-life personality, Cachet was described by her family as someone who could own the room.
She was a very outgoing person. Cachet was fabulous. She had a big heart. She loved children. She liked to have fun. She was always happy.
Her presence was impossible to ignore. But sadly, her life would take a tragic turn. On February 26, 2023, tragedy would strike. That morning at approximately 9:21 a.m., emergency responders were called to Cachet Henderson's apartment on North 29th Street in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Broken out in the apartment, and the call for assistance quickly escalated to a homicide investigation when investigators discovered a gasoline can in the living room. This led them to conclude that it was intentionally set. However, it wasn't that had claimed Cachet's life. There were several gunshot wounds to her head and body. The film deliberately set to possibly cover up the crime, making it even more chilling. Cachet's death occurred early in the morning, with neighbors reporting hearing a loud noise that sounded like a gunshot around 5:30 a.m. As it began to spread, residents smelled gasoline and saw smoke seeping into their apartments around 7:30 a.m. After hearing no response when they knocked on Cachet's door, they immediately contacted 911. Upon arriving at the scene, investigators found Cachet's Toyota parked in the parking lot, but witnesses had reported seeing the vehicle gone by 1 a.m. But surveillance footage would later help to piece together the timeline of events. The footage showed two people heading toward Cachet's apartment in her car around 3:44 a.m. Later, footage from another security camera caught one of the suspects walking away from the apartment complex at 8:45 a.m. The suspect was later identified as Cordell House. Cordell was captured on video leaving Cachet's apartment and driving away in her car. A fingerprint found on a Lysol bottle inside the car confirmed his involvement in the crime. The police also found Cachet's Toyota key fob at the crime scene, further solidifying that the car had been used in the crime.
Milwaukee and the murder of a black transgender woman that is igniting demands for justice. 31-year-old Cachet Henderson was found shot to death when authorities responded to a building.
Cordell's movements leading up to and following the crime were now under close scrutiny. But the investigation took a darker turn after the police questioned a witness. This individual claimed to have been the person who gave Cordell a ride from Neenah to Milwaukee on Saturday, February 25th, just a day before Cachet's death. The witness stated that Cordell had asked for a ride to Milwaukee, and after dropping him off, he returned home alone. But something else was even more disturbing. The witness later reported that Cordell had shown up at his home in Neenah 2 days later, unexpectedly, on February 27th. The man explained that his wife had just returned home when Cordell confronted her outside, aiming a gun directly at her head. Later, when the husband himself entered the house, he found Cordell already inside, seated in the living room with a pistol equipped with a green laser and an extended magazine. Both the husband and wife described Cordell's behavior as unsettling, his eyes vacant, his demeanor tense, and his words filled with paranoia. At one point, Cordell played a video he claimed was recorded inside Cachet's apartment. The footage, according to the man, revealed a body. Cordell allegedly boasted about what he had done, using derogatory language and saying he had caught a body, which he implied meant he had killed her. Not only that, the witness stated that Cordell's outfit was identical to what appeared on the surveillance recording. His clothing matched the suspect captured on camera during the incident, reinforcing the connection investigators were already drawing. The witness also shared that on that day, Cordell had switched his phone into airplane mode, an apparent attempt to prevent authorities from tracking him. During this time, he allegedly spoke about wanting to harm several other people. The man managed to wrestle the weapon away from Cordell and ordered him to leave the house. Little did investigators know, the story was far from over. Detectives later interviewed Cordell's mother. She explained that her son had shown up at her home early Sunday morning visibly distressed and handed her a Gucci purse along with a Rolex watch. She surrendered both items to law enforcement, who confirmed they belonged to Cachet. The investigation into Cachet Henderson's tragic death intensified over the following days. On February 28th, the police sought to bring Cordell Housley in for questioning after discovering several key pieces of evidence, including the Gucci bag and Rolex watch that Cordell had given to his mother. However, Cordell was not going to go down easily. On the morning of February 28th, when police tried to apprehend him, he led authorities on a high-speed chase. As he fled from the police, he threw several crucial items out of his vehicle, including a handgun, a green laser attachment, and firearm magazines, all of which would later be found to match the evidence recovered from the crime scene. One of the magazines contained cartridges that were similar to the unfired round found inside Cachet's apartment. The car chase finally ended when Cordell's vehicle became inoperable, and he was arrested shortly after.
Now, a vigil honoring a transgender woman killed in Milwaukee. Police found Cachet Henderson shot to death inside a burning building near 29th and Village Sunday morning. Overnight, police arrested a 33-year-old in Winnebago County in connection to Henderson's death. 12 News' Nick Boer is live at the LGBT Community Center near MLK and Court Street. Nick, a lot of emotion out there.
All right, Kristen, that vigil winding down right now, but you can still see some people around, some candles here behind me. This community certainly been shaken by the loss of 4 transgender women since last summer, 3 of whom were murdered. It's why they're standing together this evening to raise awareness and mark their loss. They gathered here for the past hour, sparked by the Sunday homicide of 31-year-old Cachet Henderson. She was shot to death inside her apartment that had been set on fire Sunday morning. This community say they're at the point where they're wondering if their visibility is putting them at risk.
This death was a wake-up call, for myself, and my trans sisters, and the whole LGBTQ community was impacted. Living in Milwaukee has become extremely dangerous to us. It has come dangerous where us trans women do not even want to come out the house because we're in fear that we will be next.
Nick, what can you tell us about the arrest of the suspect in Henderson's killing?
We know he's from Neenah. He's 33 years old. He was arrested last night after a police chase that started in Neenah and ended in Menasha. His car was stopped after a pit maneuver there. He ran and was caught by police using a taser there. Police say they also recovered a gun. He is hospitalized tonight, but Milwaukee police say he is in their custody. We're not identifying him because he hasn't been charged yet.
All right, Nick.
The investigation revealed not only Cordell's direct involvement, but also his disturbing and hateful comments about Cachet's identity. According to the witness who spoke to police, Cordell had referred to Cachet as a disgusting transgender person, indicating that the motive for her murder was fueled by hate. Cordell Housley was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, possession of a firearm by a felon, and arson.
And from Neenah is now charged in the death of Cachet Henderson, the transgender woman who was found shot to death last weekend in her burning apartment. TMJ4's Sarah McGrew with the details and disturbing criminal complaint on what led to that arrest. Sarah?
Yeah, after talking to Cachet's cousin today about the new information, she says she doesn't know how Cordell and Cachet knew each other or what the motive could have been. And I do want to warn you that some of the details of the criminal complaint are graphic. Veronica Beck is still in shock after losing her cousin just a week ago.
We
were raised like brothers and sisters. We were raised like siblings, not like cousins. We were always together.
She says no one in her family had ever heard of Cordell Housey, the man accused of killing Cache.
It's still not making any sense to us as to why or how he even knew Cache, or it's still not making any sense of what was his point, what was his reasoning.
A criminal complaint reveals on February 25th, a witness says Housey asked him to drive him to Milwaukee from Nina. Housey's mom told police he was dropped off at her West Allis apartment. That same evening, his mom told police she saw him dancing to music with a gun. The next morning, she recalls her son wasn't there, but came back later that Sunday. He gave her a Gucci bag and a Rolex watch. Both were later found out to be Cache's. Firefighters responded to Cache's house for reports of a fire that Sunday morning. That's when they discovered her body with multiple gunshot wounds.
I just want to know why her. Out of all the people, why her? Was it jealousy? Was it hate?
A day after Cache's body was discovered, the witness from Nina said Housey came back to his house with no warning and disturbing video. According to the criminal complaint, Housey allegedly talks about what happened, showing the witness a cell phone video of an African-American woman with blood on her head, and saying, "I caught the body of a disgusting expletive tran."
And like, what does that mean? What did she do to you?
Beck says her uncle, Cache's dad, is hoping to learn more from police this week.
Our main focus is justice.
Authorities were able to piece together the sequence of events leading up to Cache's tragic death, as well as the evidence that implicated Cordell beyond a reasonable doubt. Cordell's arrest sent shockwaves through the Milwaukee community, and many expressed their relief that the suspect had been caught. However, the pain of losing Cache remained. Her death raised deeper questions about the safety of transgender women, especially Black transgender women, who continue to face disproportionate levels of violence and discrimination. Cordell, who is already a convicted felon with prior charges for armed robbery and felony theft, now faces serious legal consequences. His actions not only devastated Cache's loved ones, but also sent a powerful message about the ongoing violence faced by the LGBTQ+ community, especially transgender individuals. On November 25, 2024, Cordell Housey was sentenced in Milwaukee County Court for life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Cache Henderson.
Milwaukee man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for shooting and killing a transgender woman. A judge late this afternoon sentenced Cordell Housey to life in prison without parole. A judge earlier this year found Housey guilty of killing 31-year-old Cache Henderson in February of last year and then setting her body on fire near 29th and Villard.
This wasn't just an attack on her. It was an attack on everyone who believes in acceptance and kindness. We need justice, not just for our family, but for everyone who lives in fear because of who they are. We need to show that hate and violence is never okay.
I've been misguided in life, and I truly feel like I misguided others in life. There's no right or wrong answer to the way a life should be living or taken. I truly apologize to the community, to the courts, Cache's family.
Henderson's sister said they hope this sentence brings attention and justice for all crimes against those in the transgender community.
The arrest and sentence of Cordell Housey was met with a mix of relief and grief by Cache Henderson's family and the wider community. While the sentence brought some closure, the loss of Cache's life left an irreplaceable hole in the hearts of her loved ones. Veronica Beck, Cache's cousin, was still in shock after losing her cousin, a woman who had been like a sister to her. The family was struggling to make sense of this senseless crime and were haunted by the questions that surrounded Cache's final moments. As a Black transgender woman, Cache had faced dangers that many people might never understand, and now her death became a painful reminder of the violence that transgender people, especially those from marginalized communities, are forced to confront daily. Cache's passing sent ripples through the LGBTQ+ community in Milwaukee. For many transgender individuals, the death of one of their own was a stark reminder of the hate and violence they are subjected to simply for being who they are. The tragic murder of Cache Henderson is part of a broader pattern of increasing violence against transgender women, especially within the Black transgender community. Many members of Milwaukee's LGBTQ+ community, including local advocacy groups, spoke out about the incident. Activists and community leaders have been vocal in demanding justice and greater protections for transgender individuals. there has been a growing call for elected officials and law enforcement to do more in terms of addressing violence against transgender people and ensuring that justice is served swiftly and effectively. As the investigation unfolded, the loss of Cashea Henderson was felt deeply by her family and the community. Her funeral was a moment for loved ones to honor her life, her spirit, and her impact on the people who knew her. The service was filled with heartache, but also with memories of the woman Cashea was, vibrant, loving, and determined to live her truth. Her family and friends remembered her as someone who always made everyone feel special. The grieving process was complicated, as many in the LGBTQ+ community, and especially transgender women, faced the harsh reality that violence against them is often seen as unpunished or even ignored by society. A memorial service was organized in her honor, and many from the LGBTQ+ community attended, including local activists, community leaders, and support groups for transgender people. In light of this tragedy, supporting transgender rights and fighting hate should be something we all actively engage in. Cashea's story should inspire us to stand up against violence and ensure that no other person suffers in the same way she did. Her death should not be in vain. Our thoughts and condolences go out to Cashea's family and friends. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.